Hi, back with Skinner chapter 10. This chapter is hard for me. The Skinner book isn't very clear. I don't feel like it is. Sorry if this moves around a lot. I have a hard time reading it. I have to read it like 3 times before I can really understand it. In Skinner chapter 10, he's addressing the unconscious world and also the idea of personality, motivation, and emotion. So, according to Skinner, the external world creates our inner intellect, which is interesting because, unlike Freud talks about the fact that behaviorism cannot at all address our inner unconscious. Skinner, in turn, says that's absolutely what it addresses. He also believes that the self or personality is equal to your repertoire of behavior, or is made up by your repertoire of behavior. That's what creates your self or personality. So, for example, different life behaviors create different selves. Environment creates your personality. So, in the book, he uses the example of if you were raised a certain way, then that's one personality. If you went into the military, then that's another personality or another self. And when I was reading it, it reminded me of dissociative identity disorder, or what's identified as that. He talks about fragments in the book, and that's when your contingencies conflict, or your different behavioral selves have conflicts. So that creates a contingency, and in turn, that can fragment your behavior. So one self can behave one way and one self can behave another. I kind of agree with that in some sense, because if you think of it in terms of what we do every day as people, you wear a hat as a mother, you wear your hat as a father, you change your hat for your work person, and there's party person. So I guess I can, for once, understand that a little bit, if that's really how it truly is. It's interesting to me that he still discounts the thought of, let's see if I can say this better or articulate it better. It rejecting your unconscious, the idea that there is an unconscious. And if you look in the book, and I'm going to quote it, I think it's 169. The controlling relations between behavior and genetic and environmental variables are all unconscious so long as they are not observed. And it was Freud himself who emphasized that they need not be observed. That is conscious to be effective. So Skinner just believes that behaviorism does deal with things in the unconscious. They're just not observed yet. And then it goes into verbal behavior. So it requires a special verbal environment to impose conscious on behavior by inducing a person to respond to his own body while he is behaving. So basically what he's saying, and it kind of makes sense if this is how I've rationalized it, that when you suppress or things are held unconscious, they are going to manifest itself in some sort of behavior that will then be observable. So that made sense to me, or at least that's how I rationalized that. And he also goes on to talk about the increasing of a person's consciousness of the external world simply to bring him under more sensitive control of the world, of stimulation. What interests me too about Skinner is I hear him say the word control a lot. So I'm going to present to you my open-ended question is really what is his definition of control? So, do you believe that Skinner has to control everything? I should actually articulate that better for you.